Hey guys, this is Simon doing the preview actually for a video that's already been recorded. So that was a recording. What you're going to see is a recording session. It went about an hour and a half. It's a long recording, right? So it was a live trading session where we took a CL long and how we managed it and went through the process. So I know people aren't excited to watch a video that's an hour and a half long, so you can kind of skip through it. But basically, we had established a long on CL in two locations on a trigger that we got off this chart. One right here at 63.21. Where was it? Right over 63.26. Excuse me. Right over here. We established a long, right? And then we established the other long right over here at the other half of the trade at 63.15, and that was pre-planned, right? And then our target was 63.36. You'll see where I modified. It got really slow and taking forever to get to targets, right? So we got scales on this 63.30, I believe. Our average came out to 63.21. We got 63.30, 63.40, and now we're trailing up and trying to hit up into this between 40 and 70 without getting a short signal, which we haven't gotten yet. But are darn close, actually. If this prints underneath here, it would set up a short. But I'm not trying to take the other side. It's already 1 o'clock. Session closes. We're just hoping the trailer pushes up. We have no risk left on the trade. So before you watch that video, and the purpose of doing this was to say that just a real quick disclaimer, which is past performance is not indicative of future results. Trading futures carries substantial risk. The idea here is that I'm coaching people and trading people to my trade plan. Take what you like and leave the rest. It's catered and tailored towards aggressive day trading positions, but with a high degree of accuracy. But there's substantial risk in it. You can lose money trading. I do take losses. I want to be really clear. I'm not a guru, just a trader that has a process that lets me win a high percentage of the time. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. My name is Simon. If you have any questions, you can reach me at tradenperform@gmail.com, TRADENPERFORM, gmail.com. I hope everyone's making a little bit of money. This market's pretty close to mummified on ES and NQ. Not a lot of counter rotations. It's pretty much straight one way, then straight the other. Not my environment. CL, on the other hand, is giving us some pretty good opportunities, so that's where we're taking them. Anyways, I hope everyone's making money. Don't blow up. Don't get frustrated. Markets go through cycles. It'll be volatile again. The whole goal is to hold on to your money till it is. So, and some people trade low volatility fantastically. So anyways, have a great day. The video follows. Talk to y'all later, and hope everyone did well. See you guys. Bye. Just to catch myself up, we are in a, we had this double shift down over here, then we had one more big push. CL's on the bottom. Our original entry was 63.26, which was our close above our last shift down back over here. And then we took the 50-60 back, which was 63.15.16 entry, right? And on that entry, we had these double arrows down. I'll explain them later. But getting back above these usually generates a pretty decent push, and we have a fractal trend line break. Target is 63.36 for the first scale or higher, and the average is 63.21 right now. So I could scale. I have a couple choices psychologically. I could have drawn my stop back to 63.16 break even by just scaling the 21, 22, or 23 cents that we just had here. But I still think we can get back to the 50 retrace, which is sitting up here, plus the anomaly that's sitting up there for a retest. And we're now pretty good, and we're above this biggest wave down since the early part of the trading session, right? Which usually once you get above a wave, which goes from here to here and you're closed above, we've backside tested into it. As long as we can hold that wave, we have a good chance of trapping the shorts in that wave and forcing them to come in and cover up into 63.50 to 63.70. So now I know where I'm at. Keep the recorder going, and that's that. And if it stops, it stops. That is life. And everyone, if it's taking too long, it is taking a long time, right? You normally would want it to rip, but it's the 11 o'clock hour, and it usually chops through here. So I'm going to have to sit through this consolidation, and the risk is that it does stop me. But that's a pretty good set of circumstances. The delta push, the getting above it, the pushes down, getting above those. I'm willing to stick it out. I'm willing to pay the price to find out whether I'm right or wrong. is what I should say. So 63.36 right over here, that's my first scale. And of course, everyone needs to manage according to their own risk profile on that trade. We are up at fat 2 pennies on that trade. Remember, you got to assume there's more earnings tonight. Goldman Sachs had good numbers, right? Hard to get them to push down. 26 cents. So you've now got 5 cents. So there's 2 ways to manage the trade, right? You now got a dime on the second half. You can take that off, and then that moves your stop to the 16 cents and move it to break even. Or you hold out for the 31 cents for a dime on the whole, right? Or you just wait for the 36 cents in the mid, which is what I'm doing, right? But either way, you have a lot of options when you're up on the trade. And one thing I have to be careful of is trying to force a trade one way or the other. I know this is an anomaly right here, so taking this close above this shift down and see it did it by 1 tick. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. I don't like that setup, right? So I'm cautious on it, right? Again, if the trades, so the hard thing about 11 o'clock hour on CL, it's hard to trade because it chops a lot, right? And if you're uncomfortable with that, it's taking too long and you're getting worn down mentally, right? That's not to be underestimated in terms of the amount of how taxing that can be on you emotionally, intellectually, and blah, 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 so on and so forth. It can be tough, right? So make sure you're managing the trade well to your expectations and to your abilities. I'm tired just because it's going so slow. But no matter what, from an execution standpoint, this is a good trade, right? Whether it stops or not doesn't matter to me at this point. I mean, it does matter to me, but we got above the biggest sell wave. We got pushes down. We're getting delta divergence into the lows. We're 2 days down in a row in a market that's in a balanced market at the very edge of balance, right? It's a formula that can give you some pretty damn big trades, right? So I want to be prepared to take those trades. And if it just falls apart and we're totally changing character today, and everyone's gunning for the same close we had on Friday. You got to figure, right? What happens? They all pile in at the bottom. We're going to roll, close at the low. And sometimes, like 10% of the time, they're right. But most of the time, they end up having to cover that trade. And keep asking yourself the same question. What does your ideal setup look like? How does it work? And is this the PA you want to take risk in? Always the same questions. And some people answer is absolutely, this is where I want to trade. And some people are like, hell no, it's too slow. I don't want to trade this. And then it's vice versa. Some people are very comfortable with this. Some people want, I need the market flying up and down to make money. I don't want to trade this. It doesn't matter really, just as long as you know what you're comfortable with. I'm quite comfortable on the CL trade. Tick remains neutral to negative. Bottom of New York launch. And again, I'll say the same thing. If you don't like the trade, you're up on it, right? Now's the time to go, oh, I should have gotten out. Not if you're going to be upset if it goes against you, right? You got to pick your spots. So I'm staying with the trade. I want to be totally clear. I'm staying with it. all that being said, this sucks PA wise. It really does. It's like, really? This is what we're left with? Creeping up on CL again. And taking a lifetime. Ooh, that's a good combination of bars too. Let's see if they follow through on that. You don't want it below that pink bar at this point. If I close below that pink bar, see that pink bar right there? If I close below it with a point of control underneath, I'll just close out the trade. Here, I'll draw an arrow to it. I get it closed underneath that bar. So you can go ahead and move your stop up to 63.12 because it'll be well underneath at that point. You don't want it underneath there. We should go now. CL stop is 63.12. Less than a dime of risk in the trade now. You now have a dime on the bid. Penny away from the scale, guys. It's 132 contracts there. Would not be the first time I got within a penny and didn't get hit. Someone's moving down to 35 cents. Whoever's the larger size there. So you can take a scale here. Bill, are you in this trade? So I want to be clear, you have 12 cents from the average. Off the low, you have 16 cents. So manage to your needs and to your risk profile. Y'all know I get stubborn on these exits sometimes. Great job, Randy. You're very welcome. Anyone else take that? Joyce, you in? Out? Around it? On vacation with it? It took forever. If you got paid, you deserve that. You should bank that and freaking journal it. Take a picture of it. It's a great trade. And then watch where the trailer goes so you can learn from it when you get bigger size, Randy. Joyce, don't let it go negative on you now that you've gotten to almost to the target. Don't let it go negative on the trade. As a matter of fact, I'll say that for everybody. If you're starting out, don't let that trade go from a winner to a loser. I'd rather see you scale a little bit early, right, and put money in your account than to sit there and fight it for the extra 2 pennies, right? And then bring your stop to at least your trailer, right? Either bring it to the 21 cents or the 16 cents and hope it rolls. And that makes sense because you still don't want it underneath this bar. It's all right if it backside tests it. You just don't want it underneath this bar. And I'm going to lead by example here. I'm going to change my mind a little bit. I'm going to try scale at 30 cents. I'm loading that now. I may not get hit. Oh, wait a minute. I need a little bit more love. A few more ticks. Come on. No love yet. One more shot. Come on. Some partial fill. and 30 done. So scaled off half. All right. So that's 9 cents on half. Then I'm going to move my stop to the break even at 16 cents. Actually, I correct it. Moving stop to 21 cents. For a free ride. Okay. Good job, guys. And in the meantime, ES and NQ, y'all suck. Let's go and get something done over there. No one has any fear of those markets. It's making for horrible price action. So, I don't know what it's going to take to open up, but that whole down move had no sell pressure in it. It just was a lack of buyers. Remember, people have to take losses. That's how you get markets to move down. Here comes that 36 cents. If someone wants to wait for it, it's just a couple pennies away. And then I'm trailing up on this thing. They're either going to stop me at 21 or I'm going to make it up to that 46 area. One of the two. All right, so it's a win-win situation for me. And we're above the biggest seller. And I don't have a short signal. Not yet. And it looks like I was a little impatient waiting for the 36 cents, but that's all right. See how those guys just kept trying to push down there? Look how far you've come, right? And then look at that massive push right at the low, right? Like, look at that. That's 2 full days. Friday, the tank, 2 full days of selling into, even if it's a minor support area, right? And then look how big the press is. So look at all that selling. Look how big the press got at the bottom. And then the biggest press you got above it, guess what? Usually that results in something like this. By tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised to see us up here. So, not always, but it's a damn good setup. Now they can wipe all of that out on Monday, on pit session close, and so be it. My stop's in place. That was a good day on CL. And of course, you have the option just of closing the trade, right? That's nothing wrong with that. As Randy did. I think Joyce took a little bit of money too. Take us back to total coma status, plus or minus a few ticks around 0. Joyce, totally your call. I thought I gave pretty good guidance on that, by the way, so you can make a call. I wouldn't let it come back on you, that's for sure. I wouldn't go negative. Sometimes you just got to get lucky and let it roll. It's bigger picture from a swing perspective, that's a great trade, right? And if we had any kind of range on that, we'd have been up 40 or 50 cents. Like, we've been in this thing for freaking over an hour. I don't know what the timer count is on this thing. It's been a long time, right? So normally it would rip. With the way the market is now, you just got to park and wait and hope that it works out, which is why I wouldn't lose any money on it. Getting negative 500 tick, not much response from the market yet to the downside. The weird thing is we haven't had a positive 600 tick since all day. We haven't hit 600 once, I don't think. We have not. That's a change. Don't know that it means anything, but it's a change. You don't want to get underneath that 63.23 with a point of control underneath that. You don't. So there's no need to let the trade stop you out at this point. It's just taken, we're in such slow motion. Don't let it take you negative. I can't stress that enough. And you don't have to, right? There's money in it. So It's usually faster than this, and you have to you have to be someone who's willing to take the swing to hold it like this, right? Most day traders don't have the kind of patience where like, yeah, I'll see you in 3 hours and push without any motion, right? Remember in the last hour, we have earnings coming out, right? In earnings season, which I'm not sure if we've begun in full swing yet or not. I don't keep up with it. Someone will tell me, I'm sure. That last hour, even on pushes down, the short squeezes can be pretty vicious, and we're looking for a trade in there if it'll set up on a push down. But people want to be long into good earnings, right? And everyone's had good earnings. The lack of response so far to the bank earnings, everyone's kind of, I know I've been reading everyone's predicting these dire earnings consequences relative to the economy, and that's not what I've seen so far, right? Just in the general glances. And if the perception is the earnings will be good, even if they are bad, a lot of times you'll see a short squeeze up into them. So the best thing that could happen for us from here is a hard roll down and set up just like just like CL did, where we can get above our last sellers and let them push, put the burden on them. So if you've had a good day in CL, there really hasn't been anything else. So everyone should be profitable, right? I would enjoy it at the rate we're moving. I wouldn't sit there and try to force another trade. If I can walk out profitable out of a slow day like today, and understand, I know that the range has expanded, but the volatility has not, right? We've gone straight down, then we turn around and went straight up. Very little opportunity for good entry, right? Versus CL actually gave you some good opportunity for entry, right? So I wouldn't sit here and pound it out, and I'm just trailing down on this CL, right? Everyone knows where my goal is. I'm going to bring this down to a quarter size up there at 63, 44, 45, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then I'll let the last quarter, I'll move the last part to 26 cents if I get that scale. And I'll see if I can't push towards 70 cents for that last part of the scale. Or I get a short entry, one of the two, of which I have not. Approaching the first 600 tick of the day. Guys, I may be taking off. This isn't my market. It's afternoon time. It's just way slow, right? And it starts grinding like this, and I get in trouble. So I'm still in the CL trade, but I don't know that I feel like sticking around for NQ or ES. It's just not my cup of tea when it's like this. It's too damn slow. It's grinds, and we pretty much went straight down, sideways, and then continued higher. And I don't make money when it does that. So some people do, but I don't. Right? So I'm hoping that I can get up to that 44. There's finally 36 cents. $0.39. Come on, 44. I hope I'm not one bridge too far away, but that you should be able to make it towards that anomaly. So I'm already laid in at 44 for the scale. Again, if you don't want to wait for it, there's nothing wrong with taking 39. I mean, that's 18 cents, $180 a contract. On a day like today, that's pretty good. 2 more pennies. Come on. Be nice, as my daughter would say. A 2-year-old. She goes, that's not nice. Be nice. One more penny. Ugh. Am I the miss it by the penny guy today? Holy cow. Okay, I'm losing patience and I don't want to be a prick for a tick. Scaling 6340. Okay, so I'm adjusting, taking it down to quarter size at 6340. And I'm done on that. 40, stop, 6321 on trailer. Free ride. Complete. Trailer is bonus. Good job, guys. Everyone who took that, congratulations. That was well done and not easy. That was pre-textbook, guys, just like I coach it. Thank you, Joyce. And with that being said, this recording is complete. Wherever it goes, it goes. We've been paid. It's trending up. There's your fractal trend line break for your trailer. If you want to be a little bit tighter on the exit, you can use that. Close underneath adios. And there is nothing else to do here. This thing is just... Enki's a piece of crap as far as I'm concerned right now, and the ES ain't far behind. I know we had a wider range, but if it doesn't do this stuff right here, right? What CL did, if it doesn't do that, right? Up, give me a little back and forth on top, opportunity to get in, up, down, give me opportunity to get in, up, down, give me opportunity to get in and stretch. Then I don't make money, right? And if you look at that chart. Right, so if you push that out and you look at that chart, right? See how we had nice rotations, up, back, down, back, push, right? Half on the entry, right? Now, same trade, set potentially. Right, we know we have CL and Q in the hole, right? So on top, okay, you had fractal trend line break, but after the break, there's really no backside test. Like you'd want it here, here, and then flush. Held the support resistance zone, but only briefly, right? Flushes it, right? We get to the bottom, right? There's just no reasonable retrace in this. I realize we came back over here, but the speed involved in this is just horrible. I don't have another word to say about it. Like it's NQ for, like this is ridiculous. A 28 for 12 over an hour basically. 45 minutes to get entry. I understand the 50-60 back worked. I just don't trade NQ on a, hey, I'm in it, see in 2 hours. I will CL, but I don't NQ. I expect to get paid average time 7 to 10 minutes and good. 10, 20 ticks, 10, 20 points, right? Not, oh, I got in an hour ago and woohoo, I rotated it up over an hour for 20 points. No, thank you. There's too much risk relative to the reward for me in that. So this sucks, straight down, no counter. And then on the counter, barely any counter rotation back. Like you had to be pretty good on the counter rotation. And what we've done here now, the reason why it's slowing down here, as we've come back into 50-60, That's the 62 retrace right there. That's the 50. They're squeezing the shorts behind the 50. Get back underneath. This is your last shove up right there. And this is what you got. You got to get underneath 76.24 for any progress to the downside. Or this is just all, they're just going to grind it back up. That's all they're going to do. Also, ES, down 5, right? Like, is that really a down day? NQ down 22. I know we were down 60 earlier, right? But you're starting to see the market get shallower. There's no one afraid, right? There's no one afraid of that market. So trailers are on, right? We've gotten paid on CL. Does anyone else have any questions? Floor's open. Because I'm not sure I'm coming back to trade it, guys. It's too damn slow for me. I don't have anything to prove. Okay. Then ride that oil if you still have it. There's no harm in that. And ES just has no sellers. That's just all there is to it. ES has 0 sellers. I don't give a shit what you say. We tested Friday's low. We stopped one timing. But so what? There's just, that's no sellers to me. Right? The whole rotation down, if you nailed it perfectly, was 12 to 29.01. And that's if you nailed it 13 to 29.01. If you nailed it perfectly. And you only had one chance to nail it perfectly up here. Right? And then you had to know to hold it all the way down, right? When there's no speed, you're just sitting there. And that's great if you can do that, right? But here's the conflict. If you hold it like that all the way down, right? And you're like, well, look at me. I held it all the way down, right? Well, are you still holding it all the way the frick back up? Because that whole range can get traded again. That's my observation and my point of view. And it's highly disappointing. And the reason why that is difficult is you get one chance to do it right. One on that stuff. The entry here this morning would have been, let's break this down to a US session chart. Really, this closed underneath the buy. See how each closed underneath the speed bar buy released, right? There's your sell, closed above, squeezed up a little bit. But this really, when they got above, when they finally got above the buy for good, see how they couldn't get above here, they couldn't get above here, they couldn't get above here. When they finally got above the last buy, that created the grind, and then they finally pushed. But man, you're great. You're a better trader than I am if you can sit through this, or if you can sit through this and figure out that's about to rush. And by the time we got around to trading it, we were already in a chop consolidation sideways for a very long period of time, and I do not like trading this. So the reason why I go through all that is for myself, not for anyone else, right? I'm not going to go, oh, I should have been short. I hate trading markets that lap over that, and that's a one range bar, right? Look at the 5-minute was worse. Look at that. That's horrible right there. And on top of that, just so you, because I used to beat myself up over this, which is why I'm going through it, right? You're really going to look in a market that's gone up day after day in a 5-minute consolidation, in a 45-minute consolidation where we're lapping over one another and go, yeah, I should have been short there. That makes perfect sense, right? I call bullshit if you say that. There's just no way, right? And then every day on top of that, right? Look at the 5 minutes. Okay, let's go look at the last couple of times we've pushed down. This is on a 5-minute chart, right? Let's go look at the last couple of times we've pushed down, and it's made sense for you as a trader to hold the short. Here, open drive lower. Good luck shorting anything after that. You got destroyed. Wow, must be going down now. Not so much, right? You got lucky on the 50-60 back and they pushed down one more time. We got this long, if y'all recall, I think. Over here, wow, it's going to go down. I'm going to hold the consolidation for continuation lower. Nice. You don't have a trading account anymore. And then over here, oh, gap down, right? Gap down, consolidation. Surely it's breaking lower now, but not before we just crush you out of it. And then when you finally go, look, we closed near the low of the day on a gap down. It's got to be all over, right? Well, thank you for playing that game too. When buyers are in control, shorts are very, very difficult. And you can always say, I should have had more patience with the trade. But really, in this environment, if you're going to have more patience, even though I didn't get set up off the bottom today, at least I didn't get set up in the way I wanted to be set up, right? Even though I didn't get set up off the bottom, right? If I'm going to sit in a trade, right, I'm going to get a signal. I'm going to sit in a trade. I'm going to do it like I did with CL today and go, hey, buyers are in control. They are attempting to push. No one, even on the best negative tick of the day, we could not push a new low. Here, we finally hit a -6. When we're hitting -600s, that's all 11:30, right? Where we're hitting new low ticks for the day, right? There's that time period. We're hitting, excuse me. There you go. Low ticks of the day. Where's the low? Right? So on the heaviest sell pressure of the day, the market can't come back and test the low of the day. That's why these shorts get squeezed out like that, right? And then the last part is, there's no zone here. There's no reason why we can't trade through this easily. So the logical thing for the market to do would be what? Come back and test this. We held it all night long, right? And sellers aren't willing to take a stand in this environment for whatever reason, right? They aren't willing to take a stand for whatever reason. So why sit there and screw with them, right? They're just going to sit there and drive and drive and drive. And this is how it'll look when we finally break down. Oh, really? Thank you. There we go. So I lost all my charts. Hold on a second. Let me pull them back up. Why is, oh, I see what's going on here. There we are. Hold on one second, guys. What the hell's these charts? Okay, well, this is what I wanted to show y'all anyway, so we'll just work with this. There we go. Now let's pull this down. What does a market look like when it breaks down? So you have a picture. Okay. Well, there's a small example, right? But even then, there's really no breakdown as the dips. We're going to go way back on this. Hold on. Obviously. Give it a second. It'll load. It'll take a second. Just take it over here in the meantime. Remember on CL, in case you didn't hear, I am on trailers on that now, and I have no risk on the trade outside of the profits that are on the table. And ES continues to push, no shock there. I mean, the earnings were good out of the banks. That was the only lagging sector from what I understand. If we close below, this is technically a short setup. It hasn't broken the trend line, but be aware of that if you're still trailing. Again, my trailer is just 21 cents. I only have a quarter left. We just missed that 46 by a penny. I am the freaking 1 penny miss man the last couple of weeks. I think I'm just going to take my target, subtract 3 cents on all these targets so I get hit. Okay, here this chart is finally loaded. Okay, what does the chart look like that breaks down? Well, there's a start. See that right there? We gap, right? Hold the gap. Look at the qualities. We gap down. Now look at the ranges over here to the left. See that? Small. You don't have to measure them. They're small. No one needs to measure them, right? Bam. That is a range expansion to the downside, right? And what's the other quality there? If you'll notice, day over day, we haven't been able to get back to the 50-60 retrace from the prior day's swing low to the next day's swing high, right? We just haven't been able to. If you measure it like this, we just can't do it, right? So notice that when we finally do it, see how they try to hold it right there? Wham! Clue number 2, right? Clue number 3. It can't get back over intraday, no matter how you measure it. You can't get back to a 50-60 retrace all day long. Hey, change in character, guys. Now, look at the next day. Prior day's swing high, prior day's swing low. What's your target up? The 50 retrace, because markets don't go in a straight line. Now look what happens. Oh, we hit the 50 retrace right on the close, right? See that? Because we got oversold. Here's the half gap, right? Everyone who's short of the half gap got busted. We come to the gap fill. Oh, it's a reversal day. So what has to happen next? Well, the following day, in order to have a reversal day, you must, first of all, respect the fact that that is the 50-60 retrace. They try up again in the morning, fail, right? Next clue, that's a reversal day. A, you're not going to get behind the 50-60, and you're not going to get behind this right here, because this is the afternoon swing low prior to the short squeeze to the upside. Notice we get underneath, backside test, second time underneath, falls away. Also, notice the expansion in range. Notice the up and down in the market, right? Look how all of a sudden the 50-60 start working like a charm. Bam, 50-60. 50-60 initial rejection gets behind the 62, backside tests it, right? Right to the 50-60, pushes, right? So everyone's like, hey, look, market's working great, right? I can, almost anything I do in here, I get paid on, right? So then I go from here to here, and I go, well, if we're going to go up, we're going to hold that. Notice they've tried to front run it, and they tried to hold it, got underneath, backside test, flush, right? Next day, you come in, bam, look at that. Now we're down in the hole, right? They try to press down to the downside. What's the target back up? Prior day swing high, today's swing low, 50-60 back. Notice in a bear market how often we're coming back to, even if it's for a couple of days, how often we're coming back to the mid from the prior day's high, prior day's low, and vice versa on the short, right? Regularly. Okay. Now watch the PA over the next couple of days. Nice, fat, and wide. See that? I can trade that all day long. Swing low, swing high, 50-60 back, find me location, right? I may not get the short. I can wait right here and get the long all the way back up. Where does it come to? Back to the 50-60, where I might have a scalp or rejection. Notice, this market's broken pretty hard, right? Look how few times it closes on the low. Almost zip, right? It's really hard. Everyone gets all excited about that close on the low back over here. And they go, oh, look, it's all over. It's not. That's introducing. That day right there introduces the two-sided trade. Because before that, you know who's making money? Buy the open. Buy the early dip. Buy the open. Buy the early dip. Buy the open. Buy the early dip. Right? Dip, dip, dip. Woohoo! I'm rich. It's never going to stop, right? And you come over here and you go, oh shit, buy the early dip, crushed, right? Buy the dip, crushed, right? Buy the dip, maybe not crushed there because it pushed afterwards, but you buy that early dip, crushed, buy that early dip, crushed, buy that early dip, crushed, buy that, that early dip you may not have gotten crushed on, right? And now see how the market's opened up and down, two sides, right? I can find positions in this up here. But notice how it kind of just changes on a dime, right? If you're over here, you're like, Simon, man, this market, it's just terrible. Look at that day after day. Everywhere where you're trying to fight the short and get the short in, right? You're just like, it's totally useless. And now all the range is gone, right? And then wham, just like that. What set that off? Hell if I know. I don't even care what it was, right? All I know is I can look at that day and go, notice I don't go, oh, I'm bearish. I go, oh, we got two-sided trading. Let's go get paid, right? And then if you look even prior to that, right? When this broke, see the grind up over, it's going to be over here. See how it's grinding and then it opens all the way. See how we're coming down and this is just trend day down, but then we get the counters. We're looking, if we can't get the short, right, which is possible that we can't because you got to take the continuations, just open drives. What you're looking for is the traps at the bottom. Look around that 1 o'clock period when they're bearing it into the low. Look how far the counter rotations are. Does that mean you have to be patient all the way out here? Yeah. Right? Does it always reverse? No. Sometimes it just pushes down in the last hour. But look at the difference. It consolidated into that last hour, then broke, right? Versus, oh, it's already pushing down, right? And it's already pushing down. Let's see if we can't find a trade. And you're just looking for whatever it looks like when they get buried, which is the delta pushes down, getting above your biggest swing lower, just like CL did today, right? And then you don't expect it to go in a straight line. So again, when I'm over here and I go prior day's low, prior day's high, right? I'm looking long there, right? I'm looking for a setup to go long from here to here, right? If I can get set up with a short, I'll look for a short up here. If I'm over here, right? Prior day's high, gap down, where does it push back to? The 50-60 from the current low to the high rolls down. Where does it roll back down to? Everyone I do homework with, do the 50-60s, right? They work. So if we go apply that to today, hey, we don't have any expansion range, right? So look at that chart. If I can get to it. Look at that chart. Has anything changed? Here. What changed? We don't have expansion in range. It's not wider. It's not faster. There's nothing special about today. Or as a matter of fact, it's a gap that's held. Right? Oddly enough. Right? How did we do that? How is it that... Oh, I stand corrected. I see why. There's not a space between there. I apologize. I stand corrected. Open, roll lower, break prior day's low. From prior day's low to prior day's high, we swept through because there was no new high from which to measure, right? So what do we care? Like really, what's the big deal, right? There's not much to do there unless you're going to be perfect on your positioning, okay? And I don't see how you're going to do that. I know I certainly can't. So, anyone have any questions? Because this is totally uninteresting to me other than that. Here, I'll show you the same chart on NQ. I can just use that one since I'm going to do it. Let me copy the chart, NQ. Wow, what a ridiculous market. We'll just do the last 50. See if that loads in quicker. There it is. Same time frame, same everything, right? So what's the difference here, right? Is this really an expansion in range, right? Here's the prior day's low, right? Let's see if you can tell when it looks dramatically different. Okay, that looked pretty dramatically different, right? And guess what it did? Swing high, swing low, 50, 60 back, positioned, right? Then when we came back off the swing low to the prior day swing high, response back up, right? That was the very frickin' end of the day, right? Then it came down, new low, 50, 60 back, 50, 60 back, responded, right? So it's just going day over day until there's a drastic change in character in a market, and you would find that. See, that's not a drastic change. It's just a gap down and a down day is all it is, right? Drastic changes in character look like, well, hell, that was one right there, right? A gap that closes at the low of the day, right? See that? Island reversal, gap down, doesn't fill the gap, closes low, right? Again, that was back in 12.4, and if you look a little bit earlier, you'll see, right, again, notice it tends to work off of island reversals, right? And even here in this slow grind market, right? And then guess what you want if you think it's going lower. Kind of the same. We'll look at both of them and see which one hits. None of them hit. Okay, now see that right there? You'd have gone, oh, we didn't get back to the 50 retrace. Open drive lower. So now now they changed the pace and they switch it off instead of going from the swing high. Right? See how it misses from the swing high and it goes from the afternoon swing, right? The following day, new high, 50, 60 back consolidates, but it breaks to retest the lows. See how it switches when it's weaker versus when it's stronger, right? There's nothing to do about it. It's not like a good thing or a bad thing. It's just what it does, right? And so now you've got to get a little bit more nimble with how you're using the 50, 60 retraces, right? Because they're going to smoke you a little bit until this down. And how are we going to know this changes? Well, look how big the rotations are getting, right? Both ways, like you can trade this pretty easily, right? It's going up, it's going down, it's giving 50, 60 backs and paying in the direction, pushes up, right? Misses the 50, 60 back. Hopefully we get a signal in there for the long. But you don't sit there and go, my gosh, I've got to figure this out at all, right? Because it's so evident that the thing has changed that we're just looking for certain setups that go, okay, we can push this thing lower and quickly. And the ranges are ginormous on this, right? So, and that's a 64.60 for 66.40. It gives me a lot of room, right? So see this right here when I come in here? Even though this gets behind it, right? When I'm in this kind of environment, this trade is a 65.80 roughly for 66.20 off that 50.60. I can wait all day just to get that trade, right? Or when I come up on this, right, out of the gate, right, last swing low, swing high, right into the 50-60, right? This range is so big that if I can just find my setups in here, I get plowed out of there, right? And then I come back over here like this, right? Again, that little move right there, even if I don't get the whole move correct, is more than enough to pay me a king's ransom. Dude, that's a 40, 50 point move right there, right? Even if I get the whole deal wrong, right? Then I come from here to here, right? Notice we come into the 50-60, they squeeze a little bit behind it, right? Hopefully I'll see the trap here underneath it just consolidated through here, right? Gap down. I don't think we would have gotten caught in open drive lower because we don't trade that first half hour anyways, right? So we're just looking for the traps down here in this case. And then when it comes back the other way, you go, okay, what about the other way? Well, there's my 50-60. I might have had to wait till the next day. Pushes right in, and I get paid. Okay, so there's multiple ways for me to win at this game, but there's very few ways for me to win if the whole range for the whole day is 20 points or 30 points, and it's all one line, and it's none of it is, I don't get any of this noise right here. Like I need some noise to reposition for the location, right? And then I can go look for my setups within that to get the roll to the downside, right? So I don't get this because I'm not going to stay short through all of this. It's just not going to happen for me, right? So I don't get that roll to the downside unless my read is just freaking on, right? because I can't tell if we're going to come up and fill the gap or come back down and fill the gap. And it doesn't matter. Either one doesn't matter to me, right? But what does matter to me when I switch off this chart and I look at the tick and I go, there's no sell pressure. Why do I keep saying there's no sell pressure and not taking my shorts, right? Why? Because anyone who thought today that ES was short is getting absolutely eviscerated, right? All it did was open up, take some profit taking, and now it's pushing right back up into its anomaly, and it's doing it in such a slow fashion that it's very easy to make a mental error on your trading decisions, right? Same thing with CL, right? If I just didn't park it on CL and wait, right? If I just didn't park it and wait, what would happen to me? Well, I'll tell you what would happen to me. I would get killed, right? I would just be, oh, I'm down 5 ticks, I'm out. Oh, I'm up 5 ticks, let me get out. And I never would make any money, right? So I know with the condition this market is in right now, right? I know for a fact that I just can't get paid, right, at all. It just won't happen, doesn't happen, can't happen, okay? With a short side trade, I will not be aggressive to the short side until I see a big change in character and I see these things rolling back and forth and I see tick, right? When I see tick in the morning, I go, oh, look, even if NQ falls all the way apart and it doesn't do it on any kind, this whole move down from this morning was on this. That was the whole first hour move, was no big negative tick. 600 ticks, no new lows on the new low of the tick of the day, right? Buyers are in control. They are going to annihilate the shorts in that circumstance. And all I'm doing is, if I can, is get set up for the long or step aside and wait till my market comes around. That is the best thing I can do for myself. Okay, so anyone have any questions? It's a horrible day trading market in NQ and ES right now, in my opinion. It just literally sucks. Okay, well, no one's responded. No one has said that we're good, so I'm just going to go on silent. I'm not trading it. So, looks like it's straight up to me. I'm trying to see if I had any long that I just ignored. Let's see. Nope. No fractals. No shifts to the downside. This is my last shift, and once we got above it, they pushed, but none of my setups were there. This buy, let's see if this would have worked. Buy 04 would have put a 99, 90, let's call it 0475, would have put a 99.75, would have survived that long. This one would have gotten stopped. I don't think anyone was confused about this one, but so at any rate, and then getting above this sell. So see how we got above the sell with a point of control? Did just pass the 50-60 back, and now we've pushed. But again, 3 hours, someone else can do it. So I'm still long CL, guys, so I'll be managing that from my phone, and I'll talk to y'all later. I'm going to stop the recording now.